Hey, buddies. That's
Welcome.
going to be my opening. Hey, buddies.
That's your catchphrase?
Yeah, hey, buddies.
Welcome to the first episode of The Salt Mine.
Yes, or as I would prefer it to be, the Rojogan experience.
Yes.
But some people didn't think that that was appropriate.
Namely Rojogan.
Yes, I can't remember what the word is for that when you switch the first letters around.
Plagiarism?
Now, here we go. Switch the first letter of two words is spoonerism. Spoonerism?
Spoonerism? That's an awesome word. And also a YouTuber?
Is it?
I think he's a YouTuber. Yeah, spoonerism, yeah.
I don't think that that's the actual what it is because it's an error in speech with corresponding consonants, vowels,
Turn you
or
down a little bit.
morphemes are switched. I don't even know. I don't even know what half those words mean. So there
Yeah.
there is a word because there's this artist who's called Com Trues. And so there's
Yeah.
a lot of these artists coming out now where they're
Countries.
taking the name of like Tom Cruise or the
Yeah,
name
like a
of
famous
people.
person, yeah.
Yes, and they're switching it. So obviously you can do it.
I guess so,
Um,
yeah. If you're an artist and you can get away with it, then it
yes,
should be fine.
yes, yes. If you can get away with white genocide. So,
Huh?
anyways, or Jite Wenocide.
Ah, that's better.
Yeah. So welcome to our little
Yeah.
podcast. This is our first episode.
Rid-
Um, I'm the dad, and you are the
Yes.
Chase,
I am the I am the Chase. Yeah, that's my name.
and the intent of this is to sort of approach various subjects as Joe Rogan would, TM, and uh,
Joe
and
Rogan,
discuss it,
TM.
Joe Rogan,
There you go.
and discuss it from kind of a, I guess, a Canadian perspective, our perspective,
Multi-generation perspective. Yeah.
multi-generational perspective, because we're talking about, I'm a miserable old boomer. Chase is like a Gen XX or ZYY or
I'm
whatever it
Gen
is.
Z, I think.
You're a Gen Z and or millennial
I was born
because
in
the lines are
'97,
always
so
blurred.
yeah,
You're at the end of one, beginning of another. So
I'm the
your
in-between.
sister would definitely be a millennial. The or no, yeah, no. Are you after millennial? You're after millennial.
I think
No,
so. Yeah.
yeah. So you could be at the end of millennial, beginning of Gen Z,
Yes.
whereas she is probably
Definitely
definitely a
Gen
millennial or
Z.
Gen Z.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
This is gonna be great.
All I know is you guys have a bad perspective and I have a good perspective. So as long as the audience knows that. So
This,
yeah,
yeah.
so hopefully we have some debate
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
discussion.
And this podcast isn't exactly all about one topic. We'll definitely talk about many different things in the world.
Yeah, so
Uh,
some current events, some things that are just of interest to us.
yeah,
So if you're into gaming and cars and politics and crap like that,
tech.
we're going to
Yeah,
discuss it. Tech. If you're into investing, go somewhere else because I don't know
I don't know the first
anything.
thing about investments. Yeah,
Yeah, Sarah's guy knows about investing. I'm hoping to have a rotating guest. Um, and by that I mean somebody sitting on a chair, literally rotating.
we
But
could have like a cam on them just rotating.
yes, but the person we were gonna have today, of course, is shy, even though she honestly didn't even have to talk if she didn't want
No,
to. It
she
wasn't a
could have
big
just
deal.
been here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So hopefully we can have that. What else was there? Housekeeping rules. Bathrooms are down the hall. No,
Are we
you
gonna
don't need to
talk
know that.
about anything?
Yeah. One question I do have is,
Yeah.
are we allowed to curse?
Uh,
Can you curse?
yeah, you can. You can curse after the first minute, and we're already 4 minutes in, and we haven't talked about anything. So, yeah,
Bitch. All right.
they
So now I've done it. All right. So
demonetized.
I have a
Nothing.
number of subjects I'd like to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
Many of them are like right now in our face in the news. It's
Yes, very
January 16th.
timely.
We're a few days away from the end of. Am I allowed to use the word Trump?
Yeah,
From the Trump
yeah,
presidency in the United States, even though that is not a Canadian topic, but for these people that say, um, Canadians stick to your stuff and don't talk about our politics, all I can say is F you. You can talk about our politics. I can talk about
Yeah.
your politics. We have one of the largest trading partnerships, so it's in our best interests to get along, at least from a
Mm-hmm.
trading
Yeah.
perspective. So Trump is almost out of office. It's only a few days left, but it's gonna probably feel like a few years.
It's escalating right now, I
Yeah,
think.
we're
Yeah.
on we're on the 50th year of his 4-year presidency. Like it has just been it's been
It
it's been nuts. And as just about everyone, unless your head is under a rock or you're just not tuned in, which
your
I
head
actually
is
know
under
a
a
lot of
rock.
people. Yeah, I know a lot of people who aren't tuned in.
Yeah.
The uh, Proud Boys, in Canada is pretty much dissolving. Now,
Yeah.
I bring this up because on the 6th of July, a bunch of white supremacist Yahoo idiots decided to attack the U.S. Capitol building because, of course, a few hundred or 1,000 people wearing helmets with spikes in it and fur and carrying zip ties, yeah,
Podiums.
podiums, somehow thought, yes, we're going to take over the government. And it's like, holy crap.
It's like the uprising of the dumbest people in your country
Hmm.
are trying to fight against actively helping themselves.
Yes, yes. This is interesting because for the people that don't know, we're Métis, so we know a fair bit of Métis history, and the Métis rose up to try to fight the government of Canada, which at the time was the British rule,
Yeah.
and got our asses handed to us. I mean,
Yeah, that
we were successful for a little while until the government said, "Oh shit, these guys are serious," so they sent in soldiers. I mean, these people, like, it's like they said, these people took time off from their jobs, booked Airbnbs, took a plane flight, went there and says, "We're going to take over the government. We're going to kill the vice president. We're going to kill Nancy Pelosi. We're going to kill members of Congress, and we're just going to fly back home and go back to our jobs
yeah,
once it's
like
all
nothing
said and done."
happened.
Like, the amount of delusion within these maroons. But the interesting part is, of course, you've got two sides, both sides saying exactly the same thing, that the government is not working in their best interests.
Yes.
You've got the liberal side saying Trump is just terrible and crooked and awful. Then you've got these right wing, like extremist right wing whack jobs saying that it was stolen. Trump's trying to fight for
Yes.
us. So both sides, in essence, saying the same thing, but one
Wildly
is
different
living in
perspectives.
reality, one
Yeah.
is living in a fantasy. And you see how the cults kind of get started and get going when one person had a really good point. They said, they can see how Trump rose to fame. And I talked to you about this with things like The Apprentice. He had over 10 years of The Apprentice where he was portrayed as this super knowledgeable, charismatic business person. I didn't see it when I watched it. I
Yeah.
just saw a guy who's a reality show dude who's got um, B or C list celebrities
Yeah.
like Meatloaf and stuff, who a lot of these celebrities who are no longer um, relevant, I guess you'd say. Some are, some
Kind of
aren't.
washed up. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the Gary Buseys and stuff. So it was damn entertaining to watch that stuff. But not for 1 minute did I look at him like he's this big ass successful businessman, because
Yeah.
if you looked at the truth of his business endeavors, they're failures.
Yeah. Well,
And
you know what's even worse is that
uh,
in high school I took a business class, and on the days he didn't want to teach us, he would play The Apprentice.
yeah,
You know, feeding
as if he's
feeding
teaching you.
into our, it's like, oh, he's such a great businessman, but
Yeah,
he's not.
yeah,
He's a failure.
yeah. Yep.
Every
I'm
business he's
absolutely
had has
certain
failed.
if you were in a legitimate business school, not a high school, but a legitimate business school,
Yes.
The Apprentice is not going to be in textbooks and stuff. You're not going to be learning the Apprentice
No.
model of doing business. That's not how you do it. That's how you do a reality TV show.
Yes.
So having said all that, Trump came to power with already a following, and largely via social media, Twitter, he was able to really tap into this white fear, the white fear of the brown and black, and the white fear of anybody who's not perceived to be white, as coming to take something away from them. So as we know, it's harder and harder nowadays to identify somebody as being white, because if you look at a person's genealogy, oftentimes you see bits and pieces of other things. Like, if it wasn't for the indigenous side of things, I would be pretty white, because I'd be
Yeah.
like British, English,
All
Irish,
European, yeah.
Netherlands, all European, Russian, you name it, German. So, and even then, what is white? Because because is a beautiful Swede like PewDiePie a true white person?
Beautiful
Is
sweet.
a German so
Yeah.
again, these people that are like white power are a bunch of friggin' idiots, because they don't know what
There's no
that
clear
truly means.
definition of what.
There is no white
No.
race. There is no white race.
No.
Like, just deal with it, people. So the fear wasn't so much that, oh, e- you know there's all, there should be equality. There should be um not everybody is obviously at the same place as far as whether it's their abilities or opportunities and stuff like that, but the goal of society is hopefully to create like a level playing field for everybody. Well, these white folk, not all white folk, but these white supremacist folk, don't want the level playing field.
No.
They want the playing field to always be slanted, so they're always at the top of the pecking order. And the more other, I'll use the word races, but I don't like using the word races because there's only one race, the human race, but other nationalities and other people want to compete and be on that same level playing field. Well, the white supremacists don't want that. And the more these other folk do better in life,
Yeah.
the more that these white supremacists kind of start lashing out, because they feel, instead of looking at the world and looking at other people and going, yeah, you know what, let's all help each other. I see that you're trying to do your best and
Yeah.
this, that, and the other thing. Instead of helping and lifting people up, the white supremacists are like, no, let's keep pushing those people down because we feel it's taking
Yeah.
something away from us.
I
And
want to
if
do
you're,
better. Yeah.
yeah, if your identity is all about your white nationalism, then that is effed up, like really effed up.
Yeah, there's
You're
something wrong with
basic,
you.
yeah, you're basically saying, I don't have anything truly to offer society except my whiteness.
Yeah, except the color of my skin. That's
Exactly.
all I have to offer. It's like,
Yes.
well, then
Yes.
you're pretty useless.
it's like it's like, hey, I'm going up against a Indian dude or a South Asian dude, or whatever, and this person's a slightly different shade of color than me. Um, they're far more skilled at the job, but you should hire me because I'm really white.
Yeah,
I'm really
that's
white,
all I
and
have.
my whiteness means something. And
Yeah.
I think that's been the unwritten rule
Yeah.
forever, is that we were kind of talking about this in one of my classes about how people's biases affect hiring. And I've
Mhm.
experienced this too, because I have a simple name that is kind of unambiguous. I have a name basically like John Smith kind of a name.
Yeah.
So you look at it, you go, oh, there's a good
Yeah.
white
There's
guy.
a white guy. Yeah. This is a white guy and his white name.
If I was Newbar von Piddle Slicker, well, von might be German, but if you had a name, like, I've seen people's names that I swear to God are 36 letters long for their first name. You can't pronounce it, so you immediately know that person is not a white person,
Yeah.
or you assume. You don't know, but you assume.
Yeah.
So then is this person going to be able to speak English? So immediately your biases are triggered.
Mhm.
So white people have always had the advantage like even before you meet them, you get the name
Yeah, and you
and you
go,
go,
well,
this dude is gonna be
yeah,
this awesome white guy.
I can
Turns out
gleam.
they're,
Yeah.
yeah, white nationalist supremacist pieces of garbage. So
Yep.
you told me that the Proud Boys were actually founded in Canada. I did some research, and you are right. I did
Yep.
not know that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that guy has been living in the States for a long time, apparently. So
Mm-hmm. Gavin McInnes.
yeah, and he
Turns
identifies
out
as American.
he was on Compound Media, that Anthony Cumia show,
Oh, really?
because Anthony Cumia is basically a white supremacist
Yeah.
guy, even though he's an Italian, and Italians and Moors and stuff like that. So self-hating black person there, I guess, basically. So, but Gavin McInnes is apparently a piece of garbage. So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I don't want to drag this out too much longer. But I've heard that the Proud Boys in Manitoba, which is in Canada, has disbanded. I don't know what that means when you disband a white supremacist group. Is that sort of like when the Nazis knew that they were losing,
And they just
they
scattered.
turned in their
Yeah.
membership cards? Do the Proud Boys have membership cards? Is it like
Is it like a
I'm
jacket, like a letter
yeah
jacket?
I'm turning in my membership card for this white supremacist? Does that suddenly make you not a white supremacist, or does it just mean I've now got to go underground
Yeah.
because they're discovering what a
I
piece of garbage
I
I am?
think it yeah, I think it just means that we can't openly talk about being racist and pieces of garbage. Now we have to do it, outside of the stupid group that we made.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all it
Now
is.
we can't be formalized.
They
It's kind
haven't
of like yeah,
they haven't stopped being racist. They're just
yeah,
not open about it anymore.
exactly. And yeah, at what point do you, you know, what point do you formalize your racist movement?
Yeah, I
Then
guess
you're like, well, yeah, we
like
have membership cards, a
yeah.
charter. Here's your instruction manual on how to go and lynch a person. Um, oh, I've got to use this kind of wood to build a cross for burning.
Here's your
Oh
guide.
well,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh well, now you know what? We're disbanding the group. So you know what? I
Yeah.
guess I'm not that anymore.
Turn
Well,
in
it
your
doesn't
card
work
and
that way.
sash and,
Your your
your
white your white hood.
your uniform, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of these pieces of trash were running around without a mask on in a pandemic where you can wear a mask anywhere and not get put in, not get arrested. They decided they're not going to wear masks, and they've been identified.
Oh, you're talking about the Capitol
I'm talking about in
thing.
the Capitol.
Yeah.
I'm talking about everywhere. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
been
honestly.
pictures of the Proud Boys. It's like, here's a Proud Boy guy who runs this business.
The
It's
one
like,
time
oh,
it's
now they just
acceptable.
told us.
Yeah.
Yeah, now they just told us they're not a Proud Boy anymore. Well, you're, you know, are you gonna adhere to your convictions, dude? If you're a white supremacist and you run a business, be proud that you're a white supremacist. Be proud of it, and see if you get business. If your business starts to dry up, don't say I'm no longer a white supremacist, because you're basically saying, well, I was only a white supremacist as long as it didn't affect my livelihood.
Yeah.
Piece
Basically,
of garbage.
basically they know what they're saying and doing is wrong,
Yeah.
but they're doing it anyways.
Yep.
And then as soon as
Yep.
they get caught, they're like, "Well,
Yep.
oh, not anymore." It's like,
Yeah. Is it truly any skin off their back to just say, I'm not going to be a white supremacist. I'm not going to, go out and attack or speak poorly of other people from other whatever, and just live my life.
yeah,
Is it that
just
hard to
just
do?
leave other people
To
alone.
just live your freaking life and be happy with what you got? And then
No,
and then curse those damn immigrants under your breath and just leave it alone?
but my
Do you need to
privilege.
start a movement?
I don't know. There's
Lord.
something wrong with these people where they think they're the oppressed ones.
Yes, yes. And you see that the white nationalism, the racism, and the religious conviction often go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
The guns and the Bibles and the racism.
The conspiracy theorists.
Yes, yes, which is a whole other topic.
All the crazy is lumped into one group. It's pretty amazing.
Yes, yeah. I was reading something today saying that I think it was about 600 years ago or so. I think that was Galileo's time. I could be wrong. He was the one that was saying, "Yep, the Earth is definitely round. I've calculated it." And I mean, back then they had no way of looking at the Earth from a distance. All they had was their calculations, and all the calculations said this stupid thing is round. It's a globe.
It's a sphere, yeah.
It's a sphere, yeah, or whatever it is. Yeah, it's a big booty
Yeah.
Judy in the
Yeah,
middle there.
not quite a sphere, but whatever.
Not quite a sphere. It's kind of sticks out in the middle,
Sticks out in
like
the
I
middle,
do.
yeah.
And the majority of people on Earth agreed with that.
Yeah.
Agreed with it. So the thing is, if these flat earthers went back 600 years,
They'd be in the
they'd
minority.
still be seen as idiots.
Yeah. Which is amazing.
It's amazing.
It's like you're still stupid 600 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're purposefully making yourself look like a damn fool.
It's like putting
And
on
you're
the
okay
dunce
with
cap
that.
yourself, yeah. It's like
That's it for me.
Yeah, okay. Is that
My whole point was fascism in Canada is impossible. We never really got around to that.
yeah.
Can discuss that in a follow up. But I just wanted to bring up the whole Proud Boys thing is disbanding on paper.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Yes. What do you got? What you got?
Okay.
What you got?
What
buddy?
do I got? All right,
Hey,
one of my topics switching to Tech Talk
Tech Tok.
is the
Tech Tok.
it's
I'm Elon Musk.
okay. Yes, thank you.
We need like pew 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 pew.
Okay, yeah, if we're like a crappy morning radio show,
We're
the
not that
soundboard. Yeah, we're not.
good. I need a soundboard.
You don't need a soundboard. But yeah, my one topic was GPU shortage. So there's a massive graphics card shortage.
Yes.
Nvidia released their RTX 3000 series. What, a couple months ago now? Like, it's been months, and it's been sold out, like, entirely. And then AMD also released new graphics, and they've been sold out, the whole time now, basically, yeah. And, I mean, there's a lot of factors to that. The pandemic is definitely one of them. You know, production slowed down because the factories all had to shut. And there's also unprecedented demand for computer components right now. If you look at like Memory Express and like Newegg and all that, you're gonna see a massive shortage in like CPUs, graphics cards. It's really hard to buy stuff at a decent price right now.
It's a weird time, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, and then another wacky component to uh, the shortages is, you know, these people have bots and they'll go to these sites and they'll use their bots to buy up all the graphics cards, and then they'll head over to eBay or StockX and they'll sell them for double the price because people can't buy them anywhere at MSRP. They're doing that with GPUs. They did it with CPUs, and they're also doing it with Xboxes and PS5s now. So you can't buy anything.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing they do with concert tickets, buying
Yeah,
up a
and
big block of them and then scalping
if
them.
this keeps
So
up,
they're scalpers.
yeah, they're scalpers. The scalpers are doing this, and I feel like if this keeps up, the government has to do something because consumers can't buy anything.
Yeah, I guess it depends
Like,
on your view of the role of government. So
yeah,
I guess the question is, and this happened to me when the pandemic first started. I had to get a video camera or whatever it is, the
oh,
webcam,
webcam, yeah,
because everybody's working from home. So getting components like that was near impossible. Every good webcam was sold out.
yes,
If you wanted the shittiest webcam, that was available, but everything else was gone. Computer components
yeah,
have been difficult to come
yeah,
by. My webcam, as you know, took almost a year to get to me,
yeah. Well,
which by then
that's yeah,
I had forgotten I ordered it.
yes,
Got
you've
another one.
yeah. And then you're
Then
like,
suddenly
oh,
I
a
got this
webcam, yeah,
stupid webcam from
yeah.
stupid
But
Dell.
that's different from people
That
purposely buying
yes,
up all of the
that's a
webcams.
yes, that's a demand and supply issue. So the
Yes.
question is A, is there significantly more demand than normal for these components? I would argue maybe because a lot of more people are at home.
Yes.
So I think more people are gaming than ever before. That's part of it. Part of it is the short supply. Then the other problem is that in a free market system, if you're a capitalist, you are of the belief that the market should be driven by the consumers.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if people don't want these scalped items, they shouldn't buy them. Easier said than done.
Yeah.
They, if you've got a $2,000 graphics card and it ends up on eBay for $4,000 or $5,000, and you're stupid enough to buy it, good for
That's
you.
yeah, that's your fault,
Good for you, idiot. The problem, though, is of course, is people like you, who is a true gamer,
yeah.
wants a new video card. You can't get one.
Yeah, you're yeah, because it's like not only has this been the greatest, one of the biggest leaps generationally from graphics card to graphics card, like last gen to this new gen is massive increase in performance. And MSRP is pretty good. It's decent where it is. It hasn't increased at all, which is good. But like that coupled with increased demand because everyone's at home, they want a game, and factories not, operating at full capacity, and all these scalpers, it's all one big nightmare for computer enthusiasts and stuff.
Ideally, in my ideal world, you could flood the market with a bunch of good graphics cards and F the scalpers over. So basically say, we're
Yeah.
releasing a ton of video cards. And then what happens is they could release a ton of them, release them cheaper.
Yeah.
People could buy them. And then the scalpers, just like with the toilet paper, these idiots are then stuck
With
with
all this
dozens and
stock.
dozens
Yeah.
of video cards. They can mine Bitcoin, I guess, with it or something. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking also, is there a problem with not enough video card
That's what I
manufacturers?
was gonna talk about, is that there's not enough competition.
Yes.
We have two video card manufacturers, and for right now, two main CPU manufacturers. And that's it. That's all we
Mm-hmm.
have. There's no other competition. You're stuck with one or the other. And that means that they can keep hiking prices up, and you have to pay it because you have two choices. That's it. And you're
Mm-hmm.
screwed. That's all you, yeah. You're at the whim of the company.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've got two, but you've got three. If but Apple isn't generally included in that
No,
because
you can't go out and
you
buy
you
like an Apple processor
you,
off the shelf
you can't swap out your
with
Apple
my
GPU as far as I know
Apple
of. Maybe you
motherboard.
can.
Yeah.
Maybe you can pop that out, but no, that's a problem. That's a problem. Is you've got two, and what seems to be happening is, from what you told me, AMD seems to be starting to dominate. They're starting to. And what happens if we have a situation where Intel just no longer can compete?
Yeah.
So now you just have AMD.
Yeah, well,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Intel's taking steps though. They fired their most recent CEO, and they've hired a new one who actually is an engineer. Because
Charles
no,
Gosen,
he's
oh,
he's not an engineer, and he doesn't know anything about CPUs. Um, yeah, everyone's been yelling at Intel because they kept hiring these bean counters. They kept
yeah,
hiring these finance guys as CEOs, and they don't know the first thing about a CPU. So
hmm
they're all about, cutting costs, making as much money. Now they finally hired someone who knows something about engineering,
hmm
and maybe they'll make a finally a good CPU, that can compete with AMD, because AMD's just been getting better and better and kind of whooping their ass, and Intel's been sitting there with a thumb up its butt, putting out the same CPU every year, and it's like I haven't seen much competition in the ways of Intel fighting back. But hopefully they can do something, because that means AMD will have to fight harder again, and it's good for everyone, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I,
Competition.
I, I also have a problem though with the software that requires $3,000 video cards. I know that I don't understand gaming that well, but that really grinds my gears.
Yeah,
Is that every time a new stupid video game comes out,
yeah,
the current greatest hardware can't run it.
uh,
And I'm sitting here going, this is just like the automotive sector, where you got Tesla on one hand who goes, you know what, we're just going to keep giving you software updates. But then all other auto manufacturers go, you want a software update, get a new car. It's almost like you're having to get a new computer. I know it's not that severe,
no.
but it's like come on. Your computer needs all of that horsepower for a couple of games. And then the rest of the time you're piddling around in a browser or Excel or Notepad or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, there's only a few games that really um require a massive amount of computing power. And I mean, a lot of it comes down to, I think, poor optimization on the part of the developers. And I think sometimes there are games like when Crisis first came out, no computer could really run that thing. Like, at maxed out, no computer could do it. And as time went on, those computers got better and better. It got, easier. But now that game's so old, modern hardware can't run it. But yeah,
And
it's
that
like,
annoys me, dude. That annoys me because if you're writing a video game like Cyberpunk or whatever, but you're writing it on quantum computers
yeah,
and you're writing this thing going, man, you guys are gonna love this game as long as you have a quantum computer.
yeah, you're gonna
You
love
know,
this in 5 years when you
it's
can run it.
like, yes,
Yeah, I mean, I can run it fine, but I have really good hardware,
yeah,
and
just not the latest greatest video
yes,
card because you'll never be able to
yeah,
get your hands on one
or CPU, but yeah.
or CPU. Yeah,
But, mine are good enough, and I'm fine with that. I'll wait like a couple of years and upgrade. But, for like Victoria's or Sarah's computers, they could run it. It's just it won't look very good.
mhm.
It will have, you'd have to crank everything down, and you
And my
know,
laptop,
you're
I
like,
have a
no,
2 gig
no, no.
NVIDIA GT 650.
Good lord. I Your laptop might just finally croak if it tried to run it.
It's in
Yeah.
hospice right now.
It's
We're hospice techies keeping it alive.
trying very hard to
I
keep
love
that
it. I
thing
love
running.
my laptop.
Uh,
I have no need.
yeah,
If I do some serious gaming, I'd love to do like GTA
yeah.
online and stuff like that. I would have you build me a dedicated
Dedicated
gaming PC.
gaming PC. Yeah. I also have like a little mini tech topic that kind of popped
Yeah,
into my mind.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Tech topic.
it's just our smartphones getting uglier.
Elon Musk.
Uh, that's my topic. Are smartphones getting uglier? And I think they are.
I
Um,
haven't noticed. They look like big squares to me.
Here, I want
Like,
you to here. I'm gonna post a picture of the Samsung
will our viewers be able to see it?
S21.
Our listeners?
No, just look up the Samsung S21.
Oh, I thought you were gonna post it.
I will. I'm gonna post it in the chat so you can take a look at it. Um,
Is that the one where you're asking Sarah if she's gonna join?
yes, I
Oh
think
my
that's
god.
absolutely hideous. The cameras have gotten so ridiculously large.
That's funny. That's yeah, I was watching a Markiplier video yesterday, and he had, I guess, the latest Apple with the 3 cameras in
Yeah,
it, and my eye was immediately drawn to those stupid 3 cameras.
there's too
I
many.
don't understand
Yeah.
why the cameras can't be beneath of the phone. Like they have to have them sticking out like this. It's atrocious.
The, the,
Like if you look at if you take a person who's a photographer, they have one freaking camera. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. If I'm doing photography, I have one camera, but I think good photographers have multiple cameras and multiple lenses. I
yes.
guess that's the idea. Is it's for people that want to go crazy with their photography and their phones. My iPhone is that cheapy. What do I have, the 10R or whatever,
Something like
with
that,
one
yeah.
camera. It's got one camera in it. I only need one camera.
Yeah, well, here's the thing is that I think I have a OnePlus 7 Pro, and I'll post a picture of it. I think that's a way better looking camera setup than the
There we go.
S21.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It,
See, is that Samsung? Yeah, Samsung has gone the way of Apple, where it sticks the camera in the corner,
yes. You know
where
what
my
else
thumb
Samsung's
is
doing?
always covering.
It's crazy. Like Samsung literally made fun of Apple for not
Yes.
putting a charger in the box. Guess what
They
they
don't do
didn't
it.
put in the box this year? A charger. So Samsung is just copying Apple
Mm-hmm.
while also trying to make fun of them. And it's like,
Yep.
well, you're just as bad, if not worse. Cause
The back of the phone is eventually going to be filled with
yes,
cameras.
that I know it's hilarious, but that one on the right of the Samsung, that giant with the massive
Mm-hmm.
camera, that's the Ultra. And I'm pretty sure that's like a $1,400 phone, which at this
See,
point
that's the
you could
yeah.
buy a used car for that price.
Well, that's the thing is it's to me it's not so much are they getting uglier, but why are people still buying these things?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
when the next iPhone came out, I made a prediction it's not going to sell well. Well, it was a record seller.
Yeah, it's sold gangbusters because people just
People
have.
are simply just replacing their 1-year-old phone with the
Yeah.
newest thing, and they are the reason why these things are getting stupider and uglier and more ridiculous,
Yeah.
because Apple, Samsung, they're like well, we could make it look good, but make it look shitty, these idiots will still buy it.
Yeah, they'll
They'll
buy it
still
anyways.
buy this crap. And then what do you get? You get the same operating system I get, but you just get 16
Yeah.
cameras.
And a lot of the time you get less features too.
Yeah.
Like this new I think they got rid of the expandable SIM card or micro SIM card in the
Yeah, Samsung I think
S21.
stopped that.
Well,
Yeah.
last year they had it, and now this year
Really.
they've gotten rid of it. So not only is it uglier, it's also less functional than the
Yeah.
previous phone.
That's what kept me away from iPhones for the longest time, because iPhones were stupidly priced for anything over 16
Yep.
gig, and the one I have I think is 128 or something like that, so it's sufficiently large. But if you want to put like your library of music on a phone, you need the space. So
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, but I guess people nowadays, kids, I guess they're trying to look at the trends. Everyone is a TikTok celebrity now or whatever.
Everyone's
So
got their
they
phone
need,
out and
yeah, they need 18 cameras now. So you need the cameras. You don't need space on the phone per se, because no one stores
it's all
music
in my
anymore.
cloud. Yeah.
Everyone streams it.
I have Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I was saying, the industry is pushing the change and forcing people's hand.
Yeah.
Netflix did it because there was a time when you could buy a movie and own the movie. Now you own nothing, and people are perfectly fine sitting there going, I'm going to watch my Netflix. You're renting all of this crap. You never own a single thing, and
Yeah.
everything is turning into that.
It's like leasing a car. You don't own
You're
it.
leasing everything now. You're leasing your music, you're leasing your movies. So at some point along the way, when you're on your deathbed, you'll look at your family, go, I would like to transfer all that I belong to you. Well, it's your Netflix account. You own nothing. And the industry is moving people in that direction, because now you don't have anything. maybe maybe eventually you own the phone, the laptop. You own the device to be able to, view this stuff or
Yeah.
listen to this stuff, but you never own anything physical other than that. And cars are going to go that way, I think,
It's like
because yeah,
people who change their phones every year. It's like,
yes,
what was wrong with your other phone? Nothing.
I can hang on to a phone for 3 to 5 years. Um, I rarely ever break a phone. I don't think I've ever really broken one. I think I sat on one once and broke it. Um, Same thing with my laptop. My laptop was released in 2012,
Yep.
and it still fulfills
It's perfectly
all
fine.
my needs.
Yep.
And, again, I do know people that replace their phones for the latest, greatest every year, and they have no justification for it.
Yeah,
I
it's
have I have to have a justification. When I switched from Android to Apple, it was a very painful endeavor comparing the two,
mhm.
because there was give and take to both of them.
There's so many pros and cons to each one.
Yeah. Android truly really won out, except for the camera, like the performance of the camera, which is not so
Mhm.
much the camera, because
Yeah.
Apple had the same,
Yeah. It's all
like
software.
Samsung made the camera,
Yeah.
but it was the software.
I
I
think
wanted the software.
the only one who rivals Apple right now in terms of software quality in their cameras is Google Pixel.
Mm,
But
yeah.
they kind of stopped making flagship phones. They're more of like a mid-tier phone maker now. Like they're not about like putting the fastest processor and the greatest of this and the biggest screen. It's more just like, well, it's good enough, and you're basically just buying it for software at this point.
Yeah, it's funny because when I first started buying cell phones 100 years ago, you had your cell phone wasn't for the youngsters out here. There was no touch screen. It was just a little display. You had a keypad with your
Yeah,
numbers on it. It
clicky.
was a phone. It was just a phone. There was nothing else that it could really
Yeah,
do,
you
because
would call people.
you used to call people. No email, no texting, just call people. So you had your choice. There was the cheap phone. There you could get a flip phone. Flip phones were cool. But as a young person, or as a person who's getting your first phone, I think I was maybe 20, 21, maybe 21 or 22 when your mom and I went to look for phones,
Yeah,
and I got a basic entry level phone. Nowadays, a young person, 14, 15, 16, is looking at a $1,400
yeah.
phone.
14, yeah, like 800 to $1,000+ phone.
I would have paid 60 to $100 back in the early 90s for the phone, flip phone or whatever, and then you had your basic contract. And back then it was unlimited hours after 6 p.m. During the day they would charge like 25 cents a minute, so it wasn't one of these things where you just could use it all the time.
Yeah, it's
Your mom and I would have to be careful. It'd be like, don't use the phone until 6 p.m. And then the only thing you'd use it for is just calling each other. It's like, hey honey, where are you? Well, I'm over here. Where are you? Over here. That was it.
yeah.
There was no apps. There was nothing.
Now it's a little computer in your
Now
pocket.
now you've got a computer more
Yes.
expensive than most laptops. It's amazing
Yeah.
the power of those little things.
Yeah,
So
these
anyways,
phones, yeah.
ugly as shit.
Yeah. And then I have, apparently I have one more topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's automotive related.
All right.
Uh,
Elon Musk.
a
Elon Musk.
yes, beaming Elon Musk. Uh, Today, that, Fiat Chrysler and Peugeot, merger.
Stellantis.
Yes, Stellantis is now a thing. The merger is complete.
Stellantis.
The
So
merger is
it's
complete.
complete.
Yep.
Speaking of bean counters, you were talking about bean counters earlier. I was going to interject that the reason Ford and GM are so terribly tore off now is because bean counters were running the companies for
For so
so
long.
long.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the future holds for Stellantis. I am pretty certain Fiat, Peugeot, whatever it is, will not necessarily be welcome in Canada because we did
No.
have Fiat here. Fiat failed pretty much
Tremendously.
tremendously.
As it did in America.
As I mean, I don't know how well Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep are doing. I think Jeep is doing quite well.
Jeep is doing well.
Ram does well, their truck.
Yeah, those are the only two that
But
do well.
yeah, I mean, their one of their bread and butter vehicles was the Grand Caravan, which I have one of, so I'm an expert on the wonderful
Yeah.
quality of the Dodge
The
vehicles.
quality of Dodge
The
vehicles, yeah.
quality, it just that thing oozes with quality. In fact, I'm driving it.
It was just something.
Pieces fall off in order for other people to see the quality of
It's
the vehicle.
true. Mom was
Yeah,
driving and a piece of trim fell off.
a piece of trim fell off, a wiper fell off. That was installed incorrectly by whoever did it, and transmission failures. You know, just go, as Scotty Kilmer goes, endless money pit.
Yeah.
It hasn't cost me a lot, to be honest with you. It has not cost me a lot in repairs, and it's got a lot of kilometers on it. But it's no Toyota. At the number of
No.
kilometers it's at, it's like a rickety.
It's like falling
It's like
apart.
driving
Yeah.
Noah's Ark down the street. It's a rickety piece of shit.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
doesn't hold up.
especially with the stutter when you're braking and the car shakes.
It shakes, it shimmies, it
The
it's all over the
throttle,
place.
the
So
throttle does. Ah, I hate the throttle on that thing.
it eats up coolant. No one knows where it's going. I've had it to mechanics. They go, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's only a few places my coolant can be going.
It's not on the ground.
It's not on the ground. So is it in the engine? Is there a crack somewhere? But
It's
I
a
don't know.
Dodge.
It's a Dodge. If I had a good mechanic, perhaps we could solve some of these issues with it. But it's almost completely paid off. And I think that's how people view these are going to view these Stellantis vehicles. They're going to look at them like, oh my God, at least it's almost paid off. That should be their slogan.
Thank
At least
God.
it's almost paid off, because
My 96-month contract.
yeah, you're in a ticking time bomb with these things. I don't know if the newest ones are any better, but I doubt it.
I don't think so.
I doubt it because it's all Fiat.
It's all Dodge crap.
You'd look at carcomplaints.com. It's like avoid like the plague all over the place with these things. The Jeeps, the Grand Cherokee, as much as I like the looks of them, you're talking well over 50, 60, $65,000 up vehicles. You're not going to get me to pick that over a Highlander. Never.
No, God,
especially not for more money than a Highlander. Like, you give your head a shake when I see people driving these things around. At least with my minivan, I got it pretty cheap.
Yeah.
It's just a cheap
It's
box.
a minivan, yeah.
It's a minivan. And I think I got my money's worth, over 200,000 kilometers out of that thing. Could you imagine driving a $65,000 Grand Cherokee around? That just boggles my mind. Or even a $100,000 Challenger. I mean, yeah, it's got the big V8, big Hemi under the hood, but it's still
Hemi.
the poor Fiat quality.
Yeah,
What's that thing going to be like in 10 years?
You still have to live with the interior, which is not great. No.
The Mustangs, no. Your Mustang, phenomenal interior.
It's very nice.
The Mustangs are, for all the fit and finish issues, gaps and stuff like that, it has a really, really nice interior.
Yes.
Very nice interior. So, I really wish Ford continued to make cars. That's a separate thing, but, I guess it's just not as competitive.
It's where they saw where the market was going, right? They're like, well,
they can't compete when it comes to cars. They just can't.
They're like, do we try to invest all this money into making our, Fusions and Fiestas and stuff as reliable as a Toyota and have, no one buy them? Yeah. Or do we just drop them entirely from the North American market and then just sell SUVs because
Yeah.
that's all people buy anyways.
Well, that's the challenge. Is I was looking at a Fusion, and then I started looking at the Ford Edge. Exact same platform. So the Ford Edge is just a Fusion. It's just an SUV style.
Yeah, lifted.
And I'm like, and then you start to think to yourself, if you're just an average buyer, yes, the Fusion is cheaper, but then when you look at it, you go, utility. There's more utility
Yes.
in the Edge. So then Ford goes, you know what? Why build two vehicles? Why build two when one will do? So that's my motto. So I as far as Fiat goes, Stellantis, I just can't see Dodge and Chrysler, those two brands, surviving without something significant. Like
Yeah,
they've got
they.
old platforms, with the exception of I think the Pacifica is I think it. The Pacifica is the newest thing they've got, I
Yeah,
think.
that's the newest thing that they've got. Their Chrysler
And no
300,
one's
they've.
buying it because it's so expensive.
Well, yeah, it's a $50,000 minivan.
Yeah,
Fifty
give me an
thousand.
Odyssey,
Fifty
give me a
thousand
Sienna.
American, I think.
Yeah,
Let's see how
bonkers.
much. How much is a new Chrysler Pacifica?
I could get a for 50,000. I could get a Honda Odyssey Touring, and I would much rather take an Odyssey.
The
I've
Touring is
owned.
top of the line, right?
Yes, it was. It might be something higher now, but the Touring was the top of the line, and I've owned two of them, and they're phenomenal
So
until
a
it was destroyed.
top of the line Pacifica Pinnacle all-wheel drive is 65,795
Yeah,
Canadian dollars at
good luck.
MSRP.
I
That
could
is
probably get them down to 30 because I'm good at negotiating, but
that is
I still
a
wouldn't pay that.
that is almost a $70,000 minivan.
Yeah, yeah. Who's going to buy
Holy.
that? When I start hearing $60,000 Chrysler and Dodge vehicles, I go, what?
Yeah,
You know, like,
bull.
what has happened to this market? And I mean, who is buying these? Who is buying $1,400 cell phones? Who is buying a $65,000 minivan Pacifica? Who's doing that? I know they're all-wheel drive, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool. I give them that. The tech in it is cool. The Uconnect systems are one of the best. So they have a lot of really great things, but it's not gonna hold up like a Toyota.
Yeah, their
It's not
quality is
gonna
just not
hold up.
their quality's not there. It's just not there.
It is not there. The it's yeah, it's just not. Yeah, it's not
yeah,
there.
yeah. Yeah, it's not good.
Stellantis. We'll see where
Yeah.
that goes.
I wonder if there's going to be Stellantis dealers. I wonder if they're going to do that.
Well, like I said, it used to be Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, Eagle. We used to have Eagle,
Yeah.
AMC. So I mean, I remember near where I lived, we had a Chrysler dealership that was also Jeep and Eagle because we used to have Eagle brand
Yeah.
cars. So throughout my life, I've seen Plymouth go, Oldsmobile go, Pontiac go. You've seen Pontiac
I've
go.
seen Pontiac go, yeah.
Um, um, Datsun changed to Nissan. So I've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
all these different brands go away.
Oldsmobile.
Yes, the market has shrunk down. I mean, granted, General Motors had four divisions, all making the same cars.
Yes.
So really, when they got rid of, two or three of them, we weren't really losing anything. But it sure seems like the market doesn't have anything. And I think the way that these manufacturers are making it seem like we have a lot of choices is because you look at Nissan and they have 500 different SUVs. You
Yeah.
look at any of these manufacturers and they have three or four small SUVs and they all just look a little different from
They're
each other.
and
I'm like,
they're basically the same car,
they're all the same.
all within a couple $1,000s of each other.
Yeah.
And they're all
And I
just
don't know if
yeah.
that's sustainable. Honda and Toyota go, we've got our small SUV, our midsize SUV, our large SUV, but now they're starting to do it because
Yeah.
now Honda
They
has the
got
Passport,
and they got like the CHR and stuff.
CHRs. they're starting to do that too, where they're starting to go, oh boy, between our smallest and our midsize, we don't have something in
Yeah.
there,
Or
and then
yeah.
and then they put something in there, and they go, well, now we don't have something here, so now they've got the Venza is back, Toyota Venza, so Toyota and Honda are starting to add more SUVs, and I'm going, okay, at what point do we have enough SUVs?
Yeah, at what point does the market become so oversaturated with SUVs that this becomes unstable
It's
and collapses?
unsustainable, yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah, I thought I saw Nissan or one of them releasing yet another SUV,
Yes.
and I know Nissan has a ton of them.
They have like they have like a billion
They
SUVs.
have like 8 to 10 SUVs, and I'm like, yeah, but if I'm looking for an SUV, I'd probably go for maybe the Rogue or the Murano. That's it.
That's
I
it.
mean, I personally have this mentality where when you're out going to a restaurant and the waiter gives you a menu that's 18 pages long with 5,000 items on it, it takes you forever to figure out what to eat
Yeah.
because there's so much option. When you're given a menu with 5 items, it's much easier to choose what you want. This way, with these stupid vehicles, give them the small, medium, and large,
Yes.
just like your coffee.
Yeah, I don't get these people who are like, "Oh, I like the size of the small one, but I want a bit more capacity like the medium-sized SUV." It's like
Yeah,
just buy the medium one
yeah.
or just buy the small one if you don't need that much
Get the
car
Grande or the
like
Vante.
you don't need a car somewhere in between those two. You
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, I mean Tesla's kind of got a good idea. It's like, here's our Model 3, here's our slightly bigger sedan. If you want an SUV, here's our
Yeah.
single SUV offering.
Here's our Model Y,
I
X.
think it's
It's one
one
of
of
them.
them.
One of them is.
As much as I'm not a fan of Tesla, it's like, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah,
So,
it works and it cuts
yeah.
down on how many, cars they have to produce.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at Chrysler, Dodge, and you've seen that the switches and buttons inside my minivan are the exact same ones that's in a Dodge Challenger. That's
Charger,
probably in a Jeep,
Durango.
in everything,
I
right?
have I have seen them in the Jeep. I've looked
Yeah.
inside a Jeep and been like, those are the exact same switches on the left.
So my $30,000 vehicle has the same switches as your $100,000
Yes.
Charger or
Yep.
Challenger, and the difference between a lot of these vehicles are different body panels, styles. Every time they have to stamp a body panel or however they make them for yet another SUV, that's money,
That is money.
and
Yep.
they have to get that money back somehow.
Yeah.
So we already know that if you put a whole bunch of Tim Hortons in a neighborhood, three, four, five, six of them, they're all now stealing each
Yes.
other's
They're
sales. So
feeding
they're
off
they're
of their
starting
own
to do what
profits.
GM. Yes, GM used to do that. They would compete with each other. So
With their own brands.
with their own brands.
It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Hmm.
The world.
Yep.
It's gone crazy.
It has. I have a final thought if you're done.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Final
We're
thought for
we're
you.
okay.
We're probably way over time, but final thought for the audience. Question for you. How much time should pass before you give it a pass? For instance, let's see
Uh,
if I can get this right here.
okay.
For instance, white supremacists
Yeah.
riding on Capitol Hill. Grab Mike Pence, hung him, let's say. Theoretically, don't do it. But theoretically, at what point should you forgive those people? Should there be a point where you forgive them?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking yes.
Oh. Um.
Never?
I think it would depend. Um. I mean, I'm not the biggest Mike Pence fan, but I don't think you should hang the guy. Uh.
Hang him by his
I
nuts.
think I think. Uh. Okay.
Trump already did that. I mean, hung him. Trump
He's
hung him
he's
out to
he's
dry.
got him by the nuts.
He's got him by the nets. Not anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, no. Um. I don't know. I don't think I would. I don't.
At
I think they
At,
should all go to jail and
uh
serve their time. If they, I don't know. It's like after,
Here's why I ask.
yeah,
I had said to a lady at the store, I have no plans on going back to the States
yeah,
because of all that bullshit.
hmm,
Not just because of the racist president, but because 70 million people thought that he was just fine.
yeah,
So I'm like, I don't want to spend my money down here.
yeah.
At what point do I
Well,
forgive them
yeah,
and go back
yeah,
there? And,
exactly.
and I ask this because at some point along the way in history, people forgave Germany. So at what point do people forgive Hitler? Or do
Yeah,
they not forgive Hitler? Like,
I'd,
at what point did people say, hey, Germany's okay, let's go back there? So there comes a point in time where people say, you know, enough time has passed. And I think that time is 2 years.
really, I
I
was
think
gonna say 10.
we need a blanket 2 years across the board.
Well,
So
yeah,
Charles Manson kills people, or Donald Trump instructs his riders to kill people. We could be mad at him for 2 years. What do you think?
no.
And then say we forgive you, Donald.
I
We're all
I
good.
think I think it's dependent on the change of leadership, obviously, and I think collectively as a country, seeing a shift from this sort of right leaning fascist outlook to a more liberal, socialist outlook.
So maybe a blanket 2 years is not a good idea. Maybe
No,
what we
I'm
should
saying
do.
10 to 15 years.
So in the case of Germany, for instance,
Yeah.
you need to see them make amends. You need to see
Yes.
them.
You
You
need
need
to,
to see
yeah.
them make some sort of effort
You need to see
to.
proper leadership who have, better ideals, and I mean to this day, everything that happened in World War II still haunts Germany. It's not like,
You
you
can't
know,
talk about it.
you can't talk about it there because it's like, well, you certainly can't be a Nazi
It's
there.
such a stain. It's such a
Yeah,
stain.
it's a massive stain, and I think this presidency is going to be exactly like that. Just a massive stain on the American history of the world, really, because
Well, it'll be
everything he,
interesting
yeah,
to read, say, an American history book moving forward, because the
yeah,
riot at the Capitol will probably be part of it. Now, the problem is, again, 70 million people, which is larger, which is more than 2 times larger than the population of our country,
yeah,
which is insane. We're okay with this guy,
yep,
which is so scary because even though Biden is moving in and is probably going to be talking about unity,
yes,
working with the Republican scumbags, um, you are still going to have these people who are still going to be milling around just like nothing ever happened.
yeah,
I mean, uh, I'm sure there's people in Germany who keep to themselves the fact that they think Hitler was perfectly justified. I'm sure there are. Um, for some reason, there's people in the United States and in Canada that think the same thing, which blows my mind
yes.
since we fought against that
Despite
in
being
order for
from
people to
a
be free,
completely
in order
different
for people to
country,
be
yeah.
free to say those things.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy because it's like, yeah, I don't think anyone was expecting Biden to magically make the country better. There's probably one idiot who thought that. Um, I think it's just a lot of people they're just happy it's not Trump. I think a lot of people were just like, it's not Trump, and that's what I want. But there's still like, yeah, 70 million people, which is like a third of the population, who wanted Trump again. They
Yep.
wanted another 4 years of this corrupt whack job. And I don't know if I ever want to go back to the United States again.
I certainly do want to go back because I do. You and I have been down there. We've enjoyed the people. I've talked to some pretty good people down there. I enjoy visiting places down there. I think just like everything else, I think just like with Germany, with anything, I think, given time,
Yeah.
and see whether or not those idiots come around. And if I see that there continues to be uprisings and violence and white supremacy taking root, I won't be back. But if I start to see things change and people start to get a little more
Yeah, if it gets better.
get better, yeah, and don't act like a bunch of idiots, then yeah, I would like to go back. So I think yeah, there's a time and place to forgive,
Yeah.
but each situation is different, I guess.
Yeah, it'll take time.
Yep.
All right.
And that's all.
I think
That was my
that's
that was my question for you.
okay. Wow.
We agree too much this
Yeah.
time. We need to argue.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone listens to this, it would be nice to have a segment where people can, ask us questions and we can talk about it, or if there's something they want us to discuss, that would be cool. But that's all dependent if we actually have people watching this podcast.
Get that audience. We
Yeah.
need you to call in.
Uh,
Call in.
call in after the fact, after we've recorded it.
Call
Yeah, I
in
don't know.
on
I
our
think it'd be cool to read comments and be like, oh, other people's perspectives maybe.
I would like to see whether people agree or disagree. I'd like
Yeah.
to see if they have a topic that's something that's grinding their gears. And I'm most interested in people that don't agree, because if you don't agree with me, I'm just going to call you out and humiliate you with my intellect.
Okay. All right, Bill
Anyways,
Gates.
all right.
All right. Yeah. I think that will be the end of episode 1 of the
How do you
Salt
end?
Mine.
How do you end these things? Is that how you end it?
I don't. I don't know. It
All
is
right.
what,
Thank
what,
you for tuning in.
yeah.
Subscribe.
Thank you for watching.
Give us a like.
Subscribe. Ring that bell.
Ring that
Uh,
bell.
turn on notifications.
Notifications.
Oh God, what else do they say?
Well,
I think
they
that's it.
subscribe, like,
Yeah.
turn on
So yeah,
notifications.
subscribe, like, turn
So you
on,
don't
ring
miss
that
an
bell.
episode.
Yeah.
See you, buddies.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.